Being blessed with a sonorous radio voice, I assumed I could just get on stage, wing it, and I'd do fine. Fortunately, I met Laurie-Ann and got into her in-demand program before I discovered the hard way that I was wrong. Now I have a signature speech. I have a structure to build signature speeches, and my stunning good looks and sonorous voice will serve me very well as I give a coherent, well-structured, impactful speech instead of what I was going to wing left to my own devices. So thank you so much, Laurie-Ann, for teaching me what I did not know and keeping me out of trouble and making it so I can actually have the impact that I'm hoping to have by getting on stages.
Happy Thursday. This is Laurie-Ann, and you are listening to Be in Demand. This is the podcast where I help entrepreneurs just like you leverage speaking opportunities as your best form of marketing, get positioned as the expert, and monetize your message. Today is a special speaker breakthrough session with Hannah Bailey, who said yes to being coached by me here on my show. So let's get on to the show. Hannah, it's really nice to meet you. Thank you for saying yes to the speaker breakthrough session.
I'm so excited to be here.
So tell me, what do you want to get out of this coaching session over the next 20 minutes?
I honestly think that the biggest thing I want is just a renewed energy. As we go into the new year, I mean, it's the 31st. Let's do this.
Okay, renewed energy on what?
So I wouldn't say anything specific. I just want to close out the new year with a really good, firm energy that we're closing out. And then we're going in with almost a fresh set of eyes, and anything is possible with whoever I'm talking to.
Okay. What do you do and who do you help?
So I typically help busy moms that are overwhelmed with juggling everything. I teach them how they can have everything, but they don't have to be the ones to do everything. I live with 4 Ds: do, delay, delegate, and delete.
4 Ds. God, what just came to mind was something about school. Like, these are the Ds that you actually want.
Yes, exactly.
The 4 Ds and naming what they are would be a great speech title.
Yeah, I love it. My mentor is actually my boss as well, and he's incredible. He's like, everything has a bucket. Everything can go in a bucket. And if you live by that, then everything makes it simple. Slam dunk.
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Slam dunk. So tell me a little bit more about these moms.
Yes.
Are they
So
professionals? Are they working? They're not working? What?
It's all of it. So I help anyone that is either a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, somewhere in between, working from home. I originally went into coaching as a health and fitness coach and personal trainer. And I said, you know what? Actually needs to be mindset instead, because it's not that they aren't physically capable of doing things and needing accountability. It's their perspective on how to do it and the guilt that overrides them. As a mom of 4, I just had twins last year. I realized I could have everything, but I can't do everything if I want all of it myself. I have to allow people to step up and elevate into a position to help me have everything. We can't do everything on our own.
Very nice. All right. This is a very needed topic.
Yeah.
And something that, there are lots of mom conferences and women conferences all over the place. I don't know if you know, but there's 225,000 associations here
incredible.
in the US. Yeah. I mean, when you go to the circus or you go to the fair, there's that person who blows up the long balloons and then they twist and turn and they turn them into cute little animals. There's an association for that.
I love that.
So I share that because when I say there's an association for everything, there's an association for everything.
Yes.
Just under real estate, there's 130 different associations under real estate. And that's, another umbrella, if you will, is real estate investment. Mm-hmm. It has its own set of associations. So for you to find those right associations, where the moms are, where the professional moms, the stay-at-home moms, the homeschooling moms.
Yeah, and that's me as well. We homeschool as well.
So if you homeschool, do you attend any homeschooling conferences?
I have not yet. I haven't found that that one really aligns with me. And I do think that it's a great networking opportunity. However, like I said, I can have it all, but I can't do it all. So I try to balance and find what actually is going to build my bandwidth. For me, it is going to be networking on Zoom more often than not. That gives me a better cushion for my time. It also allows for my family to stay together as a family unit, or my husband to take on a role for me, or someone else to fill in and say, okay, I'm going to take these 2 children and these 2 will stay, the younger 2 will stay with my husband. That way we can all just kind of divide and conquer and have the same plan for myself and moving us forward on, okay, who am I networking with today? Who am I reaching out to? Because if it wasn't for social media, I wouldn't be networking with you right now and connecting. So there's that benefit of in person. However, I haven't found one yet, especially with my schedule. I'm traveling a lot next year. Maybe I can find some time to wiggle in there. But until then, we'll see.
Okay. Where would you like to add more speaking?
So looking at the latter half of the year, I don't have any capacity currently between January and May. I already booked once a month on top of my regular schedule. I would say that I love to meet people, and women specifically, on social media. They need to feel that they don't have to get out to meet someone that will change their life. And I think too often there's this fear and anxiety of, I can't leave my children, or how am I going to tap into my own wealth and health and mental health and learning if I have to pay someone to be there for my child. And there are all these trade-offs. So my goal is to help women realize you don't have to trade everything off. And you also don't have to pay to trade off your time to learn and pour into yourself. If you can recognize that there are patterns and time constraints that you're putting on yourself, then you realize I actually have a lot of time that I'm not utilizing to its fullest advantage. And like it would be in the car, going to school pickup. If you take your child to school, you can listen to an audiobook one way or back, depending on if your child's in there or not. You can listen in the shower. It's just all these little things that really start to compound, and we tell ourselves we don't have time, but busy is a lie. Most people are not as busy as they think that they are. And if they are, it's to avoid sitting with their own thoughts. And that's a whole other human design that we could go down a rabbit hole and talk about on why are we busy? It's typically out of avoidance. Or the comparison trap. There's those 2. I would say that they fall into those categories.
Right. So something interesting that you've already said, you said January through May, you are already booked to speak once a month.
Yes.
Okay. Those 5 events that you're already booked at the end of each event, you should be asking your host or whoever booked you, I loved doing this. Who else could you introduce me to? Could you introduce me to 1 or 2 people?
Yeah.
And you will fill up the other half of the year.
That is true.
And here's the other thing that I really, really like what you've said, that you're already booked once a month, and that is your quota. That's it.
Yes.
I only book once a month. I share this with people, like, you don't have to say yes to every opportunity. It
Correct.
can be, I'm already booked.
Correct. I am coaching a woman specifically right now on how to say no, because she says yes to everything and it is just drowning her and she's miserable. And I want her to realize, and anyone else listening to this that is a people pleaser and loves to say yes, you're not missing out on anything if you say no every now and then. I promise. You might be missing out on a mishap of like the food got burnt or someone spilled a drink and now something is stained. You might be missing those little things, but I promise you there's so much clarity in saying no, and you realize that you are needing rest. You need to take time for yourself. Saying no to others is okay, but you can't keep saying no to yourself.
Yes. And here's the beauty in the speaking world about you have your own personal quota, and it's once a month. You're probably going to fill out the rest of the year. And who knows, you might be taking June, July, and August off.
Right.
And then you start back up in September. But once you have booked for the rest of the year, you get to say to people, I'm sorry, I'm booked and I'm booking into 2026. Would you like to book me now?
Yes.
I have had clients who have used that line and got booked out for 3 years in advance.
Yeah.
In
It's
an
incredible.
industry that never books out for the following year. This happens to be the quilting industry.
Oh,
which
I
is
love
like,
that.
which is like a what, like a $3 billion industry or something like
I love that.
crazy like that. Yeah, she was a lot of fun to work with. But that's the beauty of this is it.
Yes, your time is valuable. And like I said, you don't want to say no to yourself more than you're saying no to other people. Doing that almost exhibits to your children that to be loved or to be accepted, you have to say yes to everyone and everything. And that's not true at all. So I'm also trying to take back ownership and self-care by exhibiting that it's okay to be at home. It's okay to rest. It's not this lazy thing. Lazy is no longer defined in that way that myself as a 90s child, early 2000s, I'm not lazy because I'm not outside 9 hours a day.
Right. Here's the wonderful thing about this, about you also saying no and only speaking once a month. How much energy do you have for that one event?
Oh, so much more energy. Because if you give it your all, then you won't feel guilty about just kind of dabbling here on the next weekend or whatever event you're going to. You don't feel the guilt or you don't feel drained. And then it doesn't affect other relationships and other communication styles. I always want women to come in and say, I can communicate effectively because I know what my upper limit is or what is somewhere in that upper realm that isn't going to drain me, but it gives me enough dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin that I want to do it again. Those endorphins get flowing, but I am not going to have to recover for months on end because that 4-day event or whatever you book yourself for wiped you out.
Right.
Because it can be draining. You travel and talking and standing up and going how many hours with only water and you're not typically fasting. So there's all these variables that play in and you don't take them into account until after and you're like, wow, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't see that you're going to have a problem filling the rest of the year.
Well, thank you.
So here's another question that I have for you, since we still have time, is how many places or how many times have you spoken for somebody in the past?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I've been doing this since 2014 roughly, and it's been intermittent. So I would say no, that it's okay to have lulls in your journey in speaking.
No. That's actually not why I'm asking you that.
Oh, okay.
Give me a rough idea so you've been speaking since 2014.
I don't know. I would say I started with about 2 times a year. And then it increased. And then when I got married in 2017, it started to decrease for a few years. So I've been married 7 years. Doing the math, maybe like 50 times, roughly.
Okay. 50
but
times.
I typically podcast more than anything, too.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do with those 50.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now, the podcast, I want you to go back.
Yeah.
And ask them, because podcast hosts know podcast hosts.
Right. True.
Hey, I really enjoyed being on your podcast. One, if you have a different angle, you can come back, especially if you were on their show a couple of years ago.
Right.
Give them a different angle. Here's what, like I'm talking about the 4 Ds these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to get Ds.
Exactly.
There's got to be some sort of school grading system in there. So that's one thing. And then if repitching them doesn't help you, come up with hey, who else do you know that I can be sharing my story with? Who else has a mom audience?
Yeah.
Okay. And so now you're getting a warm referral to somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Now, the other places that you have spoken for, whether it's in person or virtual, I want you to reach back out to those people.
Okay.
And say something under the idea of, I'll just pretend like we're role playing here. If I called you or I sent you an email, it'd be like, Hannah, I cannot believe it has been 5 years since I spoke for your group. It's like I blinked and then suddenly here we are in 2025.
Yes.
And share with them, so much has changed in my world, and I'm sure so much has changed in your world. I would love to reconnect with you. Yeah. Get on a connection call.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I have had clients do this and they might rebook you.
Yes.
How a lot of my clients get rebooked to places that they've already spoken for because they've already seen you.
Yeah.
They've already heard you, so they already know that you're going to do a brilliant job. And then at the end of that event, because they're going to rebook you, or if they don't rebook you, you do the same thing. Like, who else do you know that would love to hear my story?
Right.
Where else can I be sharing my story? Can you introduce me to one or two people?
I love it.
And it literally will snowball.
Yeah.
And you're going to be sending me an email that says, Laurie-Ann, I am now booked for the next 3 years.
I love the compound effect. I love this.
Yes, it's that easy. It is that easy. And it's maintaining those relationships with the past people that you've spoken for.
Right.
Yeah.
I love relationship building. So, am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes.
Who do you know that would love to speak with me?
I love that you're asking me that. So I am going to think about that. But first, what's one or two gold nuggets that you're going to walk away with?
The realization that it is, really easy to compound effect. I have never before thought, why don't I ask who do you connect me with? Naturally, I just stay in contact with the people that I've spoken with. And I watch their lives happen. And we just continue to, have those little blips of hearts and comments and little messages here and there. So reflecting back, like, wow, I already know all the things going on in their lives. I can just ease in and say, hey, let's book another call. Let's figure out a time. I'd love to speak at the next event. So let's get on it.
Fantastic. Hannah, would you share with people where they can find you, learn from you, follow you, all that good stuff?
Yes, I do have a link tree. It is linktr.ee/Han Bailey, HANBAILEY. And then I have a website specifically for myself, hannahbailey.card, CARRD.co. So you will be able to find coaching links there to schedule with me, or you can find anything that I am affiliated with and books and workbooks I've written.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
To do this speaker breakthrough session.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
I know that a lot of people are going to learn a lot from this. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Are you tired of hearing crickets on social media? Wondering where to get seen by the right people? Or frustrated with the growth of your business? Then the speaker breakthrough session is just for you. During this free 20-minute discovery call, I'll help you recognize where you're leaving money and opportunity on the table. You'll walk away with tips and a strategy to leverage speaking opportunities to get positioned as the expert, visible to the right people, and monetize your expertise. Book your call at speakandstandout.com/SBS for Speaker Breakthrough Session. Hey there, are you ready to take the stage and your business to the next level? Because the doors to my in-demand signature speech program are officially open. Join now and you will get instant access to the program so you can start crafting your 3Cs presentation, a talk that is captivating, compelling, and most importantly, converting. Imagine an audience that's raving about you, remembering you, and referring you long after you step off the stage. That is the power of a signature speech. And this program will help you create one that you are proud to deliver. If you want a sneak peek at what's inside the program, check out the show notes for a past episode where I pulled back the curtain and gave you a behind-the-scenes look. Your audience is waiting. Let's make your story the one that they will never forget. I'll see you inside.